Thanks for staying with us. In our first story, 2 persons have been confirmed dead following clashes between scrap dealers and some people claiming to be indigenes of Aboabo in Kumasi over the ownership of a parcel of land at Dagomba line. Police say the 2 unidentified men, believed to have sustained gunshot and machete wounds, were victims of latest clashes which erupted on Thursday night. 110 persons suspected to be connected to the violence have been picked up for questioning by the Regional Police Command. Ashanti Regional Police Public Relations Officer ASP Godwin Ahianyo, who confirmed the deaths to Joy News, says the police military team had a hectic time restoring calm.
Things started from last Tuesday, where the Circuit Court here in Kumasi had issued an injunction order for a claimant to reclaim a piece of land. A letter was written to the police command for the police to giving an assistance for the injection exercise to take place. Unfortunately, when they went there, they were met with some resistance coming from the squatters. Unfortunately, there were some machete that people were brandishing, inflicting wounds to each other. The police had to halt the exercise and advise the parties involved to go back and then re-strategize. Yesterday morning, music from Askorema in this assembly, headed by the Honorable Honorable DC or MC, in the person of Honorable Halidu. They met with the leadership of the claimant of the land and the squatters. They all agreed that they were going to sit and then resolve the matter amicably. They moved from the meeting place at the assembly to the said land and met with the MC, the officers who had gone to meet them, left the place. In the evening, unfortunately, around 7:30, we heard that some youth in the area, that is the Dagomba line area, were gathering with the idea that they were going to clash with their counterpart from the Zongo side.
So what began as a turf war between scrap dealers and persons claiming to be indigenes of Aboabo left 3 people in critical condition on Tuesday. At least 3 houses were torched, with 7 other wooden structures demolished by the feuding sides. The 2 factions were said to have renewed their rivalry over the land few hours after members of the Asokore-Mampong Municipal Security Council inspected the disputed land in a bid to resolve the impasse. An unspecified number of people from both factions in the dispute also sustained machete and gunshot wounds. ASP Godwin Ahianyo says calm has been restored in the area now with increased police military patrols.
When the police got there, they met these 2 factions seriously fighting among themselves, inflicting machete wounds, brandishing machetes, clubs, any offensive weapon that they laid their hands on. The police had to call in the fire service because they were setting houses, structures, huts, anything that they see, they would just set it ablaze or set it on fire. The fire service had to come in, about 3 fire tenders had to be called to come and put the fire out. Then the military was also called in to help in bringing the situation to normalcy. It took the military and the police hectic time to be able to calm down nerves. We were able to arrest 110 suspects. Currently, we are screening them, profiling them, and we know some of them might have been there, but they were not directly involved in the whole clashes.
Now, we do understand the Asokore Mampong Municipal Security Council has been meeting on this matter. My colleague Ohiming Teria is monitoring that meeting. He joins us with details. Ohiming, what can you report?
Araba, the Asokore Mampong Municipal Assembly is an emergency meeting ended a while ago with 4 recommendations, and these recommendations, they want the Regional Security Council to immediately arrange a joint meeting between KMA and Asokore Mampong Municipal Assembly to address this issue. It also wants RECSEC to invite Asemhini and management of Ghana Railways Company to clear air on the true ownership of the disputed land. And the meeting also recommended that there should be increased police and military patrols on this disputed land, and corporates found to have been involved in this act also prosecuted, and also want information shared among KMA, Regional Security Council, and then Asokore Mampong Municipal Assembly. For now, the number of people arrested in connection with last night's clashes has increased to 120. With the 120 people involved, 15 are women and 105 are men. All the 120 people were arraigned at the Asokore Mampong Magistrate Court a while ago, and I'm told all these people have been remanded into prison custody to reappear 2 weeks from now, Araba.
And Ohiming, what can you tell us regarding security in the area, especially given the reports that we are hearing that people are fleeing their homes and that houses are being torched?
For now, there has been increased police and military patrol in the area. Residents who hitherto were living in this area have also been fleeing just to protect themselves against any further reprisals. For the Asokore Mampong Municipal Assembly, the Municipal Chief Executive Alhaji Ali Seidu tells me with the kind of arrangements that they have made, he is quite sure to prevent further occurrences. This same assurance was also given by the police PRO ASP Gordon Ahianyo, who says they have also intensified police and military patrol in the area. So there's hope that with this intervention, it should be able to restore calm in the area. But the security operatives are not leaving any stone unturned. They believe that they have to protect lives and property to ensure that nobody takes the law into his or her own hands. So they will do everything possible to bring peace and lasting peace to the area. Talking about the kind of recommendations that the Assembly made this afternoon, there seems to be some misunderstanding as to who is the real owner of this parcel of land. Some of the factions claim allegiance to Asemhini, who we are told received an ejection order from a Kumasi Circuit Court on last Tuesday to eject occupants on this particular land. And some are also saying that they owe allegiance to the Ghana Railway Company because that parcel of land appears to belong to the railway company, and they are the people who gave the land to them to occupy on this particular land. So once the Assembly is raising concerns over the ownership of the land, hopefully once if RECSEC organize or call the KMA and then Asokore Mampong Municipal Assembly into a meeting, they should be able to resolve this impasse, and especially when Ghana Railway Company is also involved in this meeting. The National Peace Council has also added this voice to developments at the Dagomba line. The chairman of the Peace Council, Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, who led members of the council to meet the Asante Hine Otunfo 62 the second this afternoon, also called for calm and also called on the security agencies to also increase their presence on the ground to forestall any unfortunate developments there.
All right, many thanks. And that's my colleague Ohiming Teria reporting on the latest on the Dagomba line clashes earlier Thursday night. And the latest information we are getting is that the number of those arrested has risen to 120. Moving on, the Ablekuma West Municipal Assembly has embarked on a demolition exercise to rid parts of the constituency of illegal structures. Friday morning's exercise saw several structures pulled down, with occupants scrambling to salvage whatever they could. The assembly was meanwhile forced to halt the exercise as some of the owners of the buildings were unavailable. They've been given a grace period up until Monday to pack out.
The demolition exercise affected several structures along the Dansoman Beach Road and 7 Great Princess School, which the Ablekuma West Municipal Assembly deemed illegally sited. Wooden shacks and other buildings which were affected had notices of evacuation on them. The sound of excavators digging into the structures drew several onlookers to the scene, with those who were in the buildings at the time scrambling to salvage whatever they could before they went down. These residents say they were not given enough time to move out of the place, but the assembly says it had marked out the buildings nearly 2 months ago.
They gave notices, but they did not give us any deadline to move out. They just stormed the place today and pulled the structures down.
All of a sudden,
some neighbors are gone to work. Their rooms are locked, and they are here to destroy them. They have their belongings in there, and so we have to break into the rooms to salvage their properties.
Some residents in the area were seen on top of the roofs of some of the buildings attempting to salvage equipment belonging to neighbors who had gone to work.
The evacuation notice was 18th June 2019, but they did not give us any time frame within which to pack out, say 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even a month.
The exercise conducted under heavy security was however halted, and residents given till Monday to clear their structures in the waterway for the channels to be opened up to accommodate running floodwaters whenever the rains come.
Now let's turn our attention to the central region, where residents of Dintra Chichire, Ntroanoa, Mokwa, Kobinansa and Diaso, all beneficiaries of government's Community Day Senior High School project, are upset the completed facilities have been abandoned. Our correspondent Richard Kujunyako traveled to these communities and reports that while some have been overtaken by weeds and reptiles, others are being used to house members of the Operation Vanguard team instead of the students. Residents are threatening to go on demonstration if the completed schools are not open for use.
The facilities are part of the 123 E-blocks that were started in 2013 by the Mahama administration to improve access to secondary education in the country. Such facilities are now rotting away, some stand abandoned, and it seems some have also been forgotten too.
So this is the Ntroanoa Community Day Senior High School. It is one of several Community Day Senior High Schools that were started by the Mahama administration. Now it stands here idle. There is no sign of activity. It's been overgrown with weeds, and the facility has been overtaken by reptiles. We are told that weed smokers and other nefarious activities go on here because the facility has been abandoned.
This is Dincha Chichire, where one of the E-blocks was completed, but the facility was abandoned until recently it was handed over to the Operation Vanguard team to use. Residents say it breaks their hearts to watch their sons and daughters walk several kilometers before having access to education and want the facility to be used for its intended purpose. We are worried about how a school that has been built to accommodate school children would be abandoned this way. Every parent would wish their children would school close to them. The government should do the needful by opening the
school. Yes, Rabbi, say, Omlano Meboy, no school, my
Now last 2 years, me ba school.
We are appealing to government to help open the school for us. 2 years ago, I had to send my child all the way to Jinejine in the Brongahafu region. For the 2 years he's been there, I have been able to visit her once. If the school had been open, I would have made her choose the school.
2 years ni 3 years minjumi nko no bi misa kora na lisua te sen minjumi nko nti esrega na ban se school o ma me bi mai.
The assemblyman for the area, Nana Bazaru, says every effort has been made for the facility to be operationalized, but nothing has been achieved.
People then coming here crying kasana mon ke se di kan tu kwa na September no kra ba ti me techiri se so mo am bi school na mai sa o yini de demonstration no. We
should even demonstrate even before September. If it means we have to walk from Dinchachichere to Accra, we shall do so. We should demonstrate against government, the DCs, the MPs, and all the people that matter in this.
Member of Parliament, and because I'm deputy regional minister,
of Dinchachichere, Nana Jamra Entry, couldn't hide his disappointment. He says they will demonstrate if the facility is not opened in September for use.
We are demonstration
we the chiefs and our people will demonstrate for the school to be opened. We've suffered for the past 2 years. It worries us. If this school is open, it will open up this place for further development. The government should step in and open the school. The municipal coordinating director for the Upper Dintra East Municipal Assembly believes the facility would be put to use when the Operation Vanguard team finishes their job.
It still stands, the original objective still stands as a community school. Yes. I don't think the vanguards will be here forever. With the lifting of the ban on small-scale mining and putting in place measures to ensure that sanity prevails in the mining sector, the school will still will start operation. Yeah, so it still stands. The original plan of the school as a community secondary school still stands.
Residents say the stored community day schools have affected the education of several children who have completed junior high school in some communities who were to benefit from the projects. They say the facilities ought to be opened, otherwise they will hit the streets in protests. Richard Kwejonya-Akon, Joy News, Cape Coast.
And Richard Kwejonya-Akon filed that report with support from the Media Foundation for West Africa. Moving on, a businessman, Chris Azawodie, has dragged the Universal Merchant Bank to an Accra High Court as part of efforts to block the distribution of 100 buses to constituency executives of the governing MPP. He alleges in his writ that he secured a loan facility in excess of $3 million to procure the buses for onward sale to the party. These form part of the 275 buses MPP chairman Freddie Blake promised to distribute to constituencies prior to his election, you would recall. Now, Mr. Azawodie wants the court to order the bank to immediately release the two buses or the buses to him instead of the MPP. There's more in the following report.
In the writ filed at the Accra High Court, lawyers of the businessman maintain that there was an agreement between his company and the Universal Merchant Bank for the granting of a loan in the sum of $3,393,000. Joy News has cited a letter suggesting such a loan was granted. The lawyers maintain that the said facility was to purchase 100 Toyota Hayes PDL and TH1 2017 model buses for onward sale to the new patriotic party as part importation for a total contract sum of $11,412,500 for 275 buses. The plaintiff says he, as managing director, personally had to travel to Dubai on many occasions to ensure the buses were imported into Ghana. According to the lawyers, UMB, the defendant, had subsequently refused to deliver the buses to the plaintiff, regardless of the many demands on the defendant to the express terms of the agreement. The writ says it is believed that the UMB is in the process of offloading the said buses to a third party, which is alien to the agreement, and in consequence denying the plaintiff his right to receive the buses as contemplated by and contained in the said agreement. The businessman is praying the court to grant the following requests. 1. A declaration that the 100 buses are his property. 2. A declaration that the buses are products of the loan facility and that the clearing of these buses at the port for the benefit of another entity is unlawful. An order directed at the Universal Merchant Bank to release the buses to the plaintiff, and an order directed at the bank from dealing with any third party to manage the 100 buses.
Well, project coordinator at the Center for Democratic Development, Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante, says skepticism. He's skeptical at the recent claim by Chris Azawodie that the 275 buses at the center of the vote buying scandal involving Mr. Freddie Blay actually belongs to him. In an interview with my colleague Kojo Yangson, the project officer for Corruption Watch said he hoped the claim was not a ruse to distract from the serious issue of the alleged vote buying.
Not a ruse to sort of sidetrack us from, for me, what I consider a very egregious violation of our electoral rules. I mean, we should not allow this kind of monetization of our democracy. Otherwise, this democracy will not go anywhere. You allow this to pass, and then it opens the floodgates. Just recently, I think the MPs were talking about the monetization of politics. We did a study. We showed that between 2012 and 2016, the cost of standing and being elected to Parliament had moved by 57%, and it cost you $85,000, and that was just a very conservative estimate. You know, you can think that people are paying somehow $200,000 to get elected. An MP salary will not even, for 2 years, will not do that. So you have to ask yourself, if this is the price that people are paying to go and serve others, what kind of democracy are we building? So for me, this is a very serious matter. If somebody had gone and sued and claimed, you know, that these are buses, and I think I'm reading the story, and there was a suggestion that the bank had basically breached some contract and so on. I mean, I would be shocked that the bank would do something like that. These people should be hauled before the Bank of Ghana for very illegal practices. But I'm not persuaded by this turn of events. I think this matter should be investigated by Shraj properly, and for us to get to the bottom of it. It was vote buying. My estimation is that it was complete vote buying, and it should be addressed as that.
And of course, this is very widespread in our politics. Yeah, it's almost accepted.
But you see, the 11 million is, for me, significant because it takes it to a different, and this is internal party primaries.
Yes.
So you can imagine what it means if it's escalated to national elections. Yeah. It will be really problematic.
Now, Chief Executive Officer of defunct gold dealership firm Menzgold, Nana Apia Mensah, has been remanded in police custody today by an Accra Circuit Court for defrauding customers. Fresh details by the CID filed at the court today suggest he allegedly defrauded 16,000 customers to the tune of 1.68 billion Ghana cedis. Nana Apia Mensah has been remanded into police custody by the Circuit Court to reappear on July 26. Joseph Akable was in court and now reports.
He has been dragged to court for allegedly defrauding 16,000 customers of more than 1.68 billion cedis between January 2017 and September 2018. He has been charged with 2 counts of abetment to defraud by false pretense and 2 counts of abetment to carrying out banking without a license. 2 of his companies, Bill Marketing Consult and Menzgold Ghana Limited, have been charged with defrauding by false pretense. Also facing the law are his sister and wife, Benedicta Apia and Rustete, who have been slapped with 2 counts of abetment to defraud by false pretense and 2 counts of abetment to carry out banking business without license.
You're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Arba Kumsun. We're taking a short breather. for staying with us. Now, the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service is investigating a popular love potion and sexual enhancer vendor for selling products to the public which have not been registered by the Food and Drugs Authority. Elizabeth Togbo, popularly known as Mama G, was arrested by officials of the Police CID and Food and Drugs Authority this past Wednesday at her shop in Medina. Mama G was arraigned today, and we will be bringing you details of that later. But this is a woman who claims that her products make the honey pot of women sweeter than that of the normal woman, making men go crazy over any woman who uses her product and hence getting them to do the bidding of the woman. Watch this.
Hi lovely people, it's a girl Mama G and this is Mama G Empire. So this is our Maga Gia package. If you don't know what Maga Gia does, Maga Gia is a sex product. It's for men who treat their ladies badly, he's not having time for you. This Maga Gia product, when you take in, it stays in your system. Your man will be addicted to you. He will do as you say. He will listen to you. If you go to the market and you don't really tell him, baby, please don't follow me, before you realize he's holding your basket at your back. That is how effective the herb itself is. That is why I named it Maga Gia. You will become the original Maga Gia in your marriage, in the relationship. All the other ones are cocoa vines. More kind of says a cocoa vines, it's a cocoa vines, or whatsoever you how you pronounce it or mention it. Maga Gia is a sex. Hi dolls, it's your girl Mama G and this is Mama G Empire. I told you guys a lot of new products are in. This one is called Princess Rihanna. It's a sex product and you will insert it. If you want for sweetness, it's like something like a glue. If you want a real herb spring, it's G. Just a little. Insert it as and when you want to have sex, and this one can be inserted anytime. So let's say you're on my herbal mixture, you have your wash and bake costs you 2 hours before sex that is coming around. You just take your mixture, you apply the wash. Right after taking the wash, you insert this one.
Maga Gia and Princess Rihanna. Well, the FDA says it alerted the police to effect her arrest after the attention was drawn to videos on social media by Mama G claiming she has such sexual enhancers. And we have a copy of the statement by the FDA. It reads, the Food and Drugs Authority, with the assistance of the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service, has effected the arrest of Elizabeth Togbo, popularly known as Mama G, over sales of products which have not been registered by the FDA. This follows attention of the FDA drawn to social media videos by Mama G claiming she has sexual enhancers and other products which have not been registered by the authority. Mama G was arrested on Wednesday, 10th July 2019 at a shop at Medina near Rawlings Circle in Accra. The FDA wishes to advise the general public not to patronize such products from Mama G since it has not been approved by the authority and the claims cannot be substantiated. The general public is therefore advised to contact the FDA should they have any additional relevant information on this issue or any other FDA-related issue through any of the following contacts, and the contacts are listed below. So we are joined by James Latte. He speaks for the FDA. He joins us on the line now. Many thanks for your time. First, confirm to us whether Mama G has been charged and what charges have been preferred against her.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening to all viewers and listeners. Well, concerning the charges, I know the police are doing their preliminary investigations before preferring any charge. If they've done that by now, I'm not aware. But some of the things that were raised were the fact that she's selling products that have not been registered by the Food and Drugs Authority, which is against the law. Additionally, advertising products whose advertisements have not been approved by the FDA. So these are the two main things that we are looking at.
I see.
When it comes to, yes.
So the FDA confiscated all her products, and you say these products have not been registered.
Exactly, by the FDA. None of them. And you see, let me give you a background. I think about a month ago, FDA sent officers to the premises, that is the shop of Maji. And that time, we directed her that the activities she's into is against the law, and therefore she must stop the activities and then bring those products into compliance. That is, start the processes of registering and all those things. So we explained everything to her. That day, I remember our officers had to even remove some posters that she has posted there, advertising some of the products. All these things were done. But for the past 1 month, she never heeded to it. We consulted the police CID. We discussed with them, and both of us agreed that no, we need to take action and get her arrested. So that was why Wednesday this exercise took place.
Interesting. So you had given her notice even before you arrested her?
Yes, we have.
I see. Good. So these products that you have confiscated, is the FDA going to conduct tests on it to ascertain their efficacy?
You know, what is happening is this. You know, the police is doing investigation. All the products are with the police. If during the investigation, the police believes that there's a need for some tests to be conducted on a product, they will elect FDA or any other laboratory that they think fit to do the testing, and then it will be done, and then the results will be given to the police for further action to be taken. So this is actually what's going to happen.
I see. Interesting. But I'm just curious, what happens if it emerges that the products that you conduct tests on it and it emerges that the products are indeed effective? Will you return her goods to her and drop the charges against her?
Bring products in the country that are good, that are okay. You can manufacture products that are okay. But what the law says is that before you do the manufacturing or before you do the importation, you need to first get approval from the FDA. Right. So whether they are good or they are not good, she has infringed on the law already by putting up products that will not be given approval. Now, if the products are found to be good and she has an interest to get them registered, well, she can still register them. But still, it must be established that the offense has been committed. And that must be indicated very clear.
I see. So what sanctions do these offenses attract?
When you look at the Public Health Act 851, which mandates FDA to regulate these things, it's very clear within the law that when you offend in such act, when it comes to medicine, selling medicines that are not registered, or advertising without approval, you can go to, that is if you are found to be guilty, you have a minimum jail sentence of 15 years and a maximum of 25 years. Or else, you may be fined an amount of maximum is 15,000.
Unfortunately, we've lost Mr. James Latte on the line there. We do apologize for the poor quality of the line, but that was the head of communications for the Food and Drugs Authority, James Latte, speaking to us there. And the news is that she has not been charged yet. She will be charged by the police, which is still investigating this matter. Mr. Latte, we understand you're back on the line. Yes. The line broke a little. Finish off what you were saying. You're talking about the sanctions that this offense attracts.
Yes, I was saying that when it comes to sanctions, you may be jailed if you are found to be guilty.
Okay.
You may be jailed a minimum period of 15 years and a maximum of 25. When it comes to fine, a minimum of 90,000 Ghana cedis and a maximum of 180,000 Ghana cedis. Or the judge can decide to impose both on you, both a jail sentence and a fine. So this is the sanction when it comes to this particular aspect of the law. Yes.
All right. Many thanks for your time. James Latte speaks for the Food and Drugs Authority. So we often hear about love potions and sexual enhancers, but do these pills and potions actually work? That's the question we put to some of you on the streets of Accra.
Actually, as I said, I don't believe in any of it because I think if a man loves you, he does. But having any extra thing for them to force so much and give whatever you demand, I don't think it works. But looking at the video, the Mama G video, there were a whole lot of people, ladies, there to pay what they believe in. But what I believe in, I don't think it will work.
Oh, I've seen them, but I don't know if it works because I've not used it before. But I think if you use it and think it will work for you, then it will really work for you. But I don't really know. But I don't know if it works too.
No, I don't believe it works because I haven't seen church before, and I don't think so at all.
Work on the men. Oh, the man will feel fine. He will enjoy the sex all right. But you, the woman, at the end of the day, you are going to suffer. You have infections, cancers, any other diseases. And who is going to suffer? The man has enjoyed giving you money. If it comes like that, the man will be giving money. Anytime the woman will demand, the man will give because she's enjoying, the man is enjoying. So at the latter part, the woman will suffer. We should be natural. We should be natural. The man know you, the man know you. We shouldn't make our night. I want to get something from the man, so I should use something. No, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. We should be natural.
It should be natural. That's the advice to all the ladies out there. In other stories, the minority in Parliament has described as wasteful payment of 282 million Ghana cedis in judgment debt by the NPP administration. Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta told MPs the previous NDC government left behind judgment debt of 482 million Ghana cedis. He says between January 2017 and now, the NPP government has accrued an additional 197 million Ghana cedis, bringing the judgment debt to 679 million Ghana cedis. It disclosed government has paid an average of 94 million cedis annually since 2017 and has so far sunk 292 million Ghana cedis in judgment debt.
Phenomenon and quantum of judgment debts is a deplorable development in our country and can distort our budget as a result from unpredictable breaches in contracts and unethical behaviors of officers who have been entrusted with the responsibility to take care of the public purse. Government continues, Mr. Speaker, to pay several millions of cedis in judgment debts to individuals and companies due to court orders for breaches of contracts, largely compensations for personal injury claims and acquisitions which cannot be ignored. Mr. Speaker, in January 2017, the outstanding judgment debt which we came to meet total over 482 million Ghana cedis. In addition, a number of cases have been pending in court. Out of this, a further 197 odd million cedis has crystallized, bringing the total amount to over 679 million cedis. The government's approach is to renegotiate most of these judgment debts and ensure that we make as much savings as possible and continue to protect the public purse. For example, in one instance, we managed to save the taxpayer some 90 million Ghana cedis through renegotiations. In another instance, we negotiated a savings of 130 million on a claim of over 180 million. In total, we have had no choice but to pay as much as 42% of the outstanding, which is about 283 million cedis, which is approximately 94 million cedis yearly, due to the threat of garnishing of our accounts and the renegotiations held. Mr. Speaker, due to our focus on protecting the public purse and obtaining value for money, we have made it a policy to negotiate with the beneficiaries.
The minority spokesperson on finance, KCL Atuforsen, has been challenging the claims of the finance minister, insisting the NDC didn't leave behind 482 million cedi judgment. He alleges the judgment debt paid so far by the MPP government is wasteful and unjustified.
My argument is in the case of bank switch, and you will notice that the minister in his answer, he said that about 80 million Ghana cedis was paid to one particular company. I suspect that is bank switch, and that is why I asked that question, because we have asked that if it's for bank switch does not deserve that 80 million. Because before we left office, we had negotiated with bank switch that we are not going to pay that 80 million Ghana cedis as interest. And bank switch has written to accept that position, and we have letters to that effect. So I'm surprised that they have made that payment. Again, in the case of McDan does not qualify to be paid bank, judgment debt, because as long as we are concerned, it is not a judgment and we don't know anything about it. So we are asking for further and better particulars on that matter before we can come pop up, because in the first place, we dispute that we left behind about 200 million being, a judgment debt. We did not leave that kind of amount as judgment debt. In fact, and that's why I said he cannot just come and then throw about numbers and go away. No, we need the breakdown of those numbers. We want to know who he has paid, for what purpose, and we want to interrogate the judgment.
Now, government has directed the resumption of work on various cocoa roads projects following the completion of an audit began 3 years ago. The MPP government suspended the projects in June 2017 following concerns about alleged bloating of contracts. Roads Minister Kwesi Amarko told Parliament 29 out of 229 road projects will be terminated.
And in total, under Ghana Highway Authority, 131 projects, and under Department of Urban Roads, 24 projects, and under Department of Feeder Roads, 74 projects, also totaling 229. Mr. Speaker, in view of the increasing public anxiety about the adverse effect of the suspension of the Cocoa Board road projects, and upon receipt of the third audit report, the Ministry has communicated the recommendations in the audit reports in writing to the 3 road implementing agencies, that's Ghana Highway Authority, Department of Feeder Roads, and Department of Urban Roads, and have been mandated to formally issue instructions to contractors to either continue work as originally detailed in the contract or as per rescoped works, or discontinue the works because of poor or low performance as at time of suspension. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Roads and Highways will, however, make follow-ups to ensure that the 3 agencies expedite action on the recommendations of the Cocoa Roads Audit Committee.
You're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Arbor Kumson. We're taking a short breather.